What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. So, I've been getting a lot of questions regarding the Get Rid of Your Knee Pain program. And one of the main questions is this program going to work if I have a meniscus tear, if I have bone on bone osteoarthritis, if I have patellar tendonitis, if I have quad tendonitis, if I had knee surgery in the past? And no matter what the diagnosis you have, or no matter what's going on with your knee, this program can absolutely work for you if you work. So, this program is designed for anybody with general knee pain. So, even if you don't have a specific diagnosis, as well as any conditions like osteoarthritis, meniscus tears, whether you've had surgery for it or not, chondromalacia, patellar femoral pain syndrome, or even if you've had previous surgeries like a total knee replacement, ACL reconstruction, meniscus repairs, arthroscopies, any of those things. If you've had any of those things, you can definitely benefit from this program, because the reality is that when it comes to your knee joint and issues with your knee joint that lead to pain, it comes down to specific and foundational principles that need to be met. Certain boxes need to be checked off no matter the diagnosis. And that's exactly what this program is going to focus on. For example, whether you've had a knee replacement in the past, whether you have pain in the front of your knee and you don't know why it's hurting, you haven't been diagnosed with anything, maybe you've had an ACL reconstruction years ago, you're still going to focus on key fundamental concepts. So you want to make sure that you have full range of motion. You want to make sure that you have muscle strength in your muscles that protect your knee, but also the muscles that are above and below your knee. So your glute muscles, all your hip muscles, all of your lower leg muscles, so your calf and your foot, that's all going to play into your knee pain, right? So we're going to focus on that. In regards to having full range of motion, it may sound silly to say you need to have full range of motion if you have knee pain, but it's really important, specifically for lifters, because if you don't have the ability to fully bend your knee and fully straighten your knee, you're going to run into issues in the gym. So without full knee flexion, the ability to bend your knee, you're going to have trouble getting into deep squat positions, right? You're going to have trouble getting into deep lunges. You're going to have trouble getting into deep split squats. You're going to have trouble stepping up or down from boxes in the gym. So that's all going to play into your ability to really thrive when it comes to your fitness goals. I'm not saying that you can't work out if you're lacking range of motion, but it is going to impact what you can and can't do. All right. And you're going to end up leaving gains on the table, because if you can't achieve full range of motion for some of these exercises, you're going to be doing partial range, which is going to force you to leave gains on the table, because you're not challenging your muscles throughout the full range of motion. So you're not going to be able to get to certain angles. If your goal is muscle growth, or if your goal is to get stronger and eventually compete in a powerlifting competition, there are range of motion requirements that you need to have. Also, even outside of the gym, if you don't have full knee range of motion, you're going to have trouble with simple things. You're going to have trouble with getting up from the couch on Thanksgiving Day when you wear your best outfit to the living room. Like, you're going to have trouble doing that. You're going to have trouble going up and downstairs, specifically going downstairs, because as you descend a step, the knee that's still on the step has to bend and slowly control and absorb the impact of your body weight as you lower yourself to the next step. This is why when people cannot bend their knee, they go down the steps either leading with the knee that hurts, or they go down the stairs sideways or on their butt, because it doesn't require them to bend their knee. Nobody wants to go through life being limited by things like this if you have control over it. Or getting off the toilet. Yes, perfect. Another reason why bending your knee is even important outside of the gym, because we're moving a lot of our day. Yes, we're not moving as much as we did 100 years ago, but you're still moving through the world, and you need to be able to absorb shock. It sounds very technical, but it's really important, because if you cannot fully flex your knee, the forces that you're creating with every step you take is going to be distributed to other areas of your body. It's going to go to the wrong places of your foot. It's going to go to the wrong places of your hip, your back. And that's when things start happening. You're like, oh, my back hurts or my hip hurts. And there's nothing wrong with your hip. It's all coming from your knee. So we need to address range of motion regardless of your fitness goal. If you want to be thriving in your day-to-day life, these are things that you have to have. So that's a box that you have to check, that it doesn't matter if you have an ACL reconstruction or a knee replacement. Whatever you have, if you have a knee, this is what you need, right? So next thing that we're going to focus on is targeted muscle strength. So you want to strengthen the muscles that directly support your knee joint. So your quads and your hamstrings are your main knee muscles, your quad in the front of your thigh and your hamstring in the back of your thigh. And when these muscles are weak, you don't have any protection for your knee joints, right? This is important because if you have knee osteoarthritis, everybody says, oh, I have bone on bone knees. When people tell you that you have bone on bone knees, all that means is the soft cartilage that lines your knee joint is deteriorating. You don't have that anymore. And essentially what that cartilage does in a healthy knee is to help you absorb shock, right? So every time you take a step, or every time you jump, every time you run, every time you move, you need to be able to absorb shock. But if you don't have that cartilage there, your primary shock absorption is gone. But that does not mean that it's the end of the world. What that means is you need to really focus on your secondary shock absorbers, which are your muscles. And this is why when I keep saying that when your muscles are weak, you don't have any protection, because if your muscles are weak, they can't do that job. And then what's going to happen is your knee joint starts to take up all the forces, and that's going to exacerbate your pain, and that's going to make the degeneration of your cartilage and your bone on bone worse. And it's going to keep being a cycle. And then you're going to end up being a person that can't go down the stairs. You start going down the stairs on your ass. You start going down the stairs sideways. The main reason is because you do not have strength of the muscle supporting your knee. When your muscles are strong, they'll take a lot of the impact and they'll reduce how much forces are actually going to your knee joint. So you always want to have strong quads and you always want to have strong hamstrings. Those are really important. It's not just for aesthetic benefits. I know having teardrop quads is really sexy. It's sexy to me, but it goes beyond that. You need to have strong muscles to thrive in life. It doesn't matter what the diagnosis is. Also, it's not just about your knee joint and the muscles that support your knee. It's about your entire lower body, right? Because your body doesn't work in isolation. You cannot move your knee without actually moving the joints above and below, right? So you're not just going to focus on quads and hamstrings. You need to focus on your glutes. You need to focus on your calves. You need to focus on your foot muscles, because those are going to play a role in keeping your knee healthy, because your body never works in isolation. You cannot walk and be like, oh, I don't want to put stress on my knee. I don't want to put stress on my knee. I don't want to put stress on my ankle. I'll put stress on my knee. You can't think like that, because every time you take a step, it's not just your knee that's taking forces. It's your ankle, it's your hip, it's everything. So this is going to be really important to look at. Some people have really strong quads and hamstrings, but their knee still hurts because they have weak hips or their foot mechanics are off. So we're going to focus on those things as well. So it's not just about targeting the knee, it's about targeting your entire lower body. So this program is going to give you assessments to figure out exactly what you need to work on. This isn't about random exercises based on the location of where your knee hurts or specific diagnosis that you've had. We cannot just randomly, blindly prescribe exercise based on diagnoses, because I may have patellar tendonitis and you may have patellar tendonitis, and we have to do totally different things based on what weaknesses we have, what range of motion restrictions we have. And that's why these random tips on Instagram is like 3 tips to bulletproof your knees or bulletproof your shoulders. That's why that shit doesn't work, because it does not take into consideration you. You may have full range of motion of your knee. You may not need to be doing certain exercises for your knee. You may need to focus on other stuff. So we're going to dial in on your specific deficits. You're going to be able to go through assessments that let you know what you really need to focus on. So if you're lacking the ability to bend your knee, you will have exercises that focus on that. If you have full range of motion when it comes to bending your knee, but you can't fully straighten your knee, that's what you're going to work on. There's no sense in working on shit you don't need to work on, right? If your quads are weak, there's going to be exercises to address that. If you cannot currently do a barbell back squat, there's still going to be a squat variation that you can do. So no matter if you are dealing with knee osteoarthritis, if you had a meniscus tear, you name it, you can benefit from it. It'll work if you work. If you guys have any questions that you want me to address regarding this program, drop them in the comments. I'm also going to link the where you can buy this program. Is currently $97 until November 23rd. If you're considering this, make sure you get it before November 23rd because this is the lowest price it's ever going to be. Yeah, I'll see you guys inside. And like I said, drop your questions in the comments. Peace.